It's definitely great to get practice underway, and I think our guys have prepared hard all spring, all summer. Pretty much everyone's here, ready to go, and I think it's important that we utilize once again the next month to get fully up to speed, correct mistakes we made late in the season, try not to repeat them, and get ready to have a great year. And without question, we think we got a really good schedule that is competitive but fun, and we're looking forward to playing it.
Jeff, you mentioned mistakes that you guys made later in the year, and I know you've kind of brought that up a couple times since the end of last season. What do you think? What were those mistakes?
Well, it was a combination of a lot of things. From a coaching aspect, there are things we could have done better, in my opinion. And in order to be competitive against the best teams, which we faced some good teams late in the season, you've got to be sharp in every aspect. So that, in combination with some mistakes we want to correct on the field, are just simple things that I don't want to elaborate too much on, but there are things we all could have done better, including myself and our coaches, that we've got to make sure that we have the best plan together to help our players succeed at a high level. And being a former player myself, I'm aware of that, and it takes everybody doing their part, and we've got to be really sharp as coaches and have a good plan, and if not, have answers quickly when things come up.
Jeff, is this team this year very similar to last year's team in the respect that you'll throw the ball some, you'll try to run it a lot, and your defense looks like it's really good?
Well, I do think that we have the ability to be really good on defense. I like our personnel. I like our scheme. I think we will have a good plan ready to go to help us do some really good things, which is getting after the quarterback, stopping the run, challenging routes, getting sacks, getting interceptions, creating turnovers, all things we want to be really good at in order to be a top-notch defense. And then on offense, we were efficient for a long time and adjusted to what we thought could help us win. And then, we would just like to find a way to be a little more explosive if we can, especially in the passing game, to create some big plays and some quicker touchdowns where we don't have to drive it 8 to 12 plays down the field every time. And so that'll be important that we figure out a way to do that. And I just think special teams-wise, we did some good things. We just can't give up big plays and have some costly mistakes that every once in a while we did, even though we created a couple big plays as well.
What are the advantages of having a number of older guys who've been through it, and then this is your second year? A lot of your players already know your system. They know how you coach. Is it any easier this year, or can you put things in faster?
I do like the fact that we have some veterans on our team. I think it's important to have guys that have experience, that have played football, that have gone through the ups and downs. They've been able to handle adversity. They understand what it really takes to win at a high level in college football. So I think we have that. And if there are guys that are willing to learn and mature and go out with a bang, we love having them on our team. And I think we have quite a few of those. Even if they're newcomers, I still think they can do a really good job for us. But without question, the guys that are here for the second year, we've seen progress in them. There's a handful of them that are noticeably have shown signs they're going to make really good strides this year. So we hope that what we're seeing carries over to the game, because yes, I do think people that have been here their second year could do a good job for us.
Jeff, obviously year two for you. Specifically, just from the personal side, last year very emotional being able to take over here at your alma mater, and now getting that full cycle out of the way. Is there almost kind of a relief that you got that first year out of the way, and now it's kind of all gas and no brakes here at this point? What does that look like for you?
Well, to a certain degree, yes, without question. But I do think that the stakes are higher now, and we've raised the expectations of what we want to try to get accomplished. So it means you got to continue to come through and prove yourself. So, you can look at it that way, or for us, every year it's a new year, and we try to take it one game at a time. And while that sounds boring, man, if you're trying to do your best every single week, no matter what happened the week before. A lot of times it takes care of itself at the end of the year without putting that pressure constantly on yourself. So, you know, we want the expectations high. Internally they are. Outside we really don't care, but internally they are. And we want to try to play at a high level and figure out a way to play better than we did last year, and as many aspects as we can. And it needs to show up on the field by our play and by the results.
Jeff, you've added a lot to the defense, especially in the secondary, but one guy that was here last year but didn't get to play was MJ Griffin. What's been your impression of how he's handled that injury and recovering and now coming back to play?
Well, MJ's a talented young man who unfortunately missed all of last year with a knee injury. He is back healthy. He's done a great job rehabbing his knee, getting himself ready to go. He definitely studies the game. He understands what we're doing. He's into it. He wants to play extremely well this year and be a great leader. And if we can keep him healthy, I do think he will do that. He has shown really good signs in practice. He needs to be the quarterback of the secondary back there and make sure we're lined up and ready to go at all times, no matter what we're seeing, and make plays. But to this point, we definitely like what we've seen, and we expect him to have a great year.
You mentioned a handful of times this offseason how the various additions on the offensive side of the ball can help you better accomplish what you want to accomplish on that side of the ball. But what about the other side? Do you think the additions on the defensive side, the additional depth, the additional year of experience, do you think, even though you guys were good on the defensive end last year, do you think you guys are more well equipped to, take it to the next step on the defensive side?
Well, I think so. I think we added a lot of really key talented pieces on defense, especially in the secondary, at the corner position, the safety position, on the defensive line as well. We had a lot of key pieces that I think will play for us and produce, and they need to be productive. And we added a couple linebackers as well. One was here in the spring and showed us good signs, and another one got here after the spring that needs to show up and make plays for us. So these additions we had on defense were to come in, almost all of them, and try to play now and get on the field now and help us. There might be one or two of them that are a little bit younger that may take a tad bit longer, but we like them all. And to this point, from what we've seen, we think they all can help us. At what level remains to be determined, but we hope at a high level is what we're hoping.
How do you decide as you go into a season how much to actually hit, and how much has it changed through the years from like when you played? Is there less live scrimmaging or hitting as the season in the preseason?
Well, it's a delicate question, and I don't know if there's a right answer. Without question, you want to get your team ready. You want to get them physically ready. You want to practice hard. You want to practice fast. You do have to hit some. You do have to tackle some. Now, there are times to pull that back a little bit and make sure it doesn't happen. But unfortunately, some injuries are going to happen. We lost Lance Robinson, an O-lineman, the first practice and a helmet practice, and he's out for the year. So those things happen, whether you're tackling live or not. And it's something that you just do your best to try to teach guys to stay up off the ground, how to practice as a professional, which is what you do at the next level. And no matter what tempo or whether it's live tackle to the ground or not, you're smart and you're working at your craft and your game, but also you're not taking any cheap shots. You're not throwing people to the ground. You're not hitting someone unnecessarily when you got a great opportunity to, because they're on our team. So we just try to teach those small things. You hope that it adds up, and we get to the first game as healthy as we can. But occasionally there's just going to be a few things happen, whether it is tackle or not. But without question, we do measure that, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it. But every year is new and different, and crazy things can happen. Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Now, it didn't matter for me. I was a quarterback, and my jersey was a different color, but quite a bit less. We'll have a couple scrimmage days. We'll even on those days, it's not live tackle the entire scrimmage, but quite a bit it is. And then we'll have a couple sessions during the week where a certain period or two will be live tackle. But as we get closer to the game, then that will minimize and shorten down. But we will do that, and we'll practice tackling and open field tackling sometimes where you're not taking them to the ground, just to make sure we're we're staying up to speed, how to leverage a ball carrier with one person, two people, three people as well, but we're not taking them to the ground. So there's just some subtle things we do to help as much as we can minimize injuries.
Jeff, I haven't seen anything on this. What's the status of Mason Rieger going into this season?
Well, Mason unfortunately had off-season knee surgery, and some things didn't go exactly the way he'd wanted, which caused it to push the return date back farther. So right now he is rehabbing and will not be able to practice during fall camp. We'll see what happens during the season, but whether we can get him back or not during the season remains to be seen.
Mean for that position?
Well, we have known about this for a while, so we went out and signed some guys at the defensive end position, two guys for sure, veterans that have played a lot of football, and Miles Jernigan and Richard Kinley. We went out and signed a couple D tackles, Thor Griffin and Renee Conga and Jordan Garrard. So we've tried to piece that up as much as we can. And, we do try to err on oversigning number-wise on the offense-defense line to make sure we have enough guys. To me, that's where the great teams are really good, so that they're able to win in the trenches. They have depth. They're able to rotate guys in when someone goes down or gets nicked up a week or two, or for the season, you're able to not miss a beat. So we think we have addressed it as much as we possibly can to provide some depth in case some things happen.
Jeff, and this is probably, I know you have turnover every year, even though before when you didn't have the portal and all, but you have an awful lot of people coming in. You had some in January. How do you just get them all to mesh together, just working with them, film room, coaching, etc.?
That's the answer. So anyway, yes, we have a lot of pieces, and I can overthink it and say, I'd love for our roster to be the same and that not to happen, but it's going to happen. That's the way that college football set these rules up, where it's going to change. And sometimes when a new coach comes in, there's probably might be more changes than you would like, and you hope that eventually that decreases some. But with the ability to transfer freely in two separate portals, and with so many reasons why people are transferring, it's not always related to playing time. It's related to other things, and so you can't really control that. You manage it as well as you can. So at the same time, it's about, hey, let's develop the players we have, and let's make it work, and let's try to help them be the very best they can and play at a high level, get to the next level as well, graduate, get a degree, be happy. But at the same time, we want to build depth with people, but if we need to continue to bring experience to the table to help us win now, we're not going to be afraid to do that. So with the ability of all these guys moving in freely, we want to be prepared and ready to move as well. So I just think we study hard with our recruiting staff and coaches when the off season hits and when these portal cycle hits, that we're up to speed and we're able to move if we need to. It is way more so now than in the past, yes, just because a lot of times you're recruiting, a lot of times you're just keeping your ears open, and people are giving you information on what could happen down the road. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but you would be shocked how much information is passed along of what could happen. So we definitely take notes, and we keep those notes by our side, and we're able to adjust accordingly.
Jeff, when you look at Tyler Shuck, excuse me, in high school he played against Brock Purdy. In college he was behind Justin Herbert. Now here with you guys, all past and present NFL quarterbacks. How do you feel like that kind of just shapes who he is, and how do you see him kind of being NFL ready right now, or where do you see his progress right now?
Well, we really like Tyler Shuck. He's done everything we've asked to this point. when we got him here, he still was a little nicked up. So we wanted to work hard to get him healthy, and he worked very hard to get healthy. So I think he's as healthy as he's ever been. He definitely is a student of the game. He can throw the football. He's a big physical body that has athleticism as well, and he's played football. He's just, unfortunately, had some injuries. As I've kind of gone on before, if you watch video of him in the past, he was asked to run the ball a lot, and he got hit a lot. And that will increase your percentage of getting injured. Not that that was the only reason, but it increased his percentage. So we're going to make sure that we do what we do, but also protect him to a certain degree. Obviously, he'll have to run it some. He's got to scramble some. We might have to occasionally call something for him to run it, but we do want to get the ball in our playmakers' hands as much as we can, get the ball out of his hand as much as we can, protect as much as we can to throw it up the field to help him because he can throw it vertically. But I like what we've seen, and I think he will work extremely hard. He's been a great leader to this point, and we want him to play very well, and we think he has that capability.
Follow up on the transfer portal question. Given the number of players who come in with credentials but maybe not familiar with your playbook, do you have to dumb it down a little bit so that everybody can understand what's going on?
Well, at first we will not try to dumb it down. We want to make sure that we teach these guys and we spend time with them and we develop their ability to comprehend what we're doing so that we have a decent-sized package to use. Nowadays in college football, a lot of times a lot of people run the same stuff, but man, when you have a couple of new wrinkles here and there, you'd be shocked how much it helps. As we chart sometimes some new plays we run every week, they always work at the beginning, and then as we use them more, they get stale. So you have to have a little bit of wrinkle on both sides of the ball to do that, and our kids have to comprehend it. So we want to throw a lot at them. So in the spring, summer, fall camp, we're going to throw a lot at them, and we hope that they can comprehend. As we get 2 weeks before the game, yes, that thing will be narrowed down. Every week when we play in the game, it will be narrowed down more, and we will try to focus just on what we practice. But we will always keep a few things in the bank that in case we've got to get to it in not dire straits, but when things aren't going well, we have the ability to do that, and they've seen it before, they've heard it before, and we can just cover it quickly just in case we haven't covered as much as we like. So we want to have the ability to still coach and put plans together, but yes, it is always dialed down as we get closer to the game and game week.
Jeff, with the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff, is there a sense of relief when you get to this point? Because do you think like this is who we have for this season when you finally start practice, or is that a couple weeks away even? And how different is that from what you've experienced in your other years as a coach?
Yes, the transfer portal ends at May 1st. Now, you don't have all your players in by then. So then it's a matter of getting those in and getting the roster set, which hopefully can happen by June 1st, but sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, after then, you pretty much kind of know who you have and where you're at. And things do stabilize mostly, not fully, but mostly. And then you can go coach football. So yes, that part has calmed down a great degree, and as we get closer to the regular season being over and the next portal cycle, then you have to prepare for some things that could happen. And sometimes you may have to be ahead of the game on certain issues before you get to that as well. So we are aware of that. Not to get into too much detail, we're aware of that. And we try to be very diligent but smart on how we handle those situations.
Jeff, in-helmet communications available this year, does it change your approach to play calling? Obviously, we still do the hand signals for when you go no huddle, but does it change your approach as the play caller at all?
Okay, so the headsets, earpieces in the helmet will change things. And, the advantage of the earpiece is, the ability to talk to the quarterback, but also to try to help prevent sign stealing. And over the last 2 years as an offense, we have probably huddled a little bit more than we had in the past, and we've used wristbands a little bit more in the past to help prevent sign stealing. So this is another method to try to help do that. Now, figuring out the exact way to utilize that to be able to play at the pace you want, that's where it gets a little tricky because you've got to figure out, are you still going to use signals? Are you still going to let the quarterback tell them through communication from the coach to the quarterback? And then how fast do you want to go and how do you do that? So those things, if you talk to a lot of no-huddle offenses that go fast, they were not in favor of the earpiece because they're probably still going to signal everything in. But the NFL's used them ever since I played, which was a long time ago, so it should have been put into place. And also on defense, it gets a little tricky as well where you got to think things through. You want to have the ability to not have to signal everything in. But after 15 seconds and it ends, if they change things and you want to change calls, now you're going to have to signal it in. So you still have to be able to signal in, and teams are still going to probably go quick at times, and you have to have the ability to either call it in quickly on the earpiece, or to get it signal fast. So all those things are in play, but I do think it's time it should have been put in, and you just got to figure out the best way to utilize it. Okay, thank you.